I'm pleased to be joined by Mayor Pro Tem Dave Martin, who's here. Um, Today, the Houston Health Department is reporting 98 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total case count in the city of Houston to 3,613. So that's 98 new cases being reported today, and a total count of 3,613. Sadly, the number of people who have died directly related to COVID-19, that number now is 56. So we're adding four new cases today to the number of people who have passed away. The four new deaths include a white man in his 60s with underlying health conditions who passed away on March 31st. And as you will see, we kind of go, as these cases come in and they connecting them to COVID-19, then we report them when we get the information. So this is a white man in his 60s with underlying health conditions who passed away on March 31st, a black man in his 60s with underlying health conditions who passed away on April the 7th, a Hispanic female in her 80s with underlying health conditions who passed away on April the 8th, and a Hispanic female in her 80s with no record of any underlying health conditions who passed away on April 25th. As we prepare for reopening businesses in stages in Houston and across the state, based on the governor's executive order, I will continue to stress the importance of testing. I will say to you that we have modified the city's stay home, work safe order to incorporate the governor's executive order and adding a few other things, one of which all city permitted and sponsored events will continue to be rescheduled or canceled through the end of May. The Houston Public Library System will continue to be closed through May. And the way city employees are operating today, many of whom are working remotely, that status will continue through the month of May as well. Again, it's the testing that will give us a better sense of the extent of the community spread that exists within our city. I also want to make note of respect to the testing sites, the Butler Stadium, Del Mar Stadium, Barnett Stadium, which is in East End, and then the mobile sites at Sunnyside and Kashmere. All of those testing sites are open and running, and they are available to anyone, whether you're symptomatic or asymptomatic, who want to be tested, and I want to encourage people to fully take advantage of those testing sites. We want people to be safe and responsible as they transition back into business mode. I do not want people to think that they should immediately stop social distancing or stop wearing face coverings or stop staying at home if they have that option. Please bear in mind the virus is still in our city, still prevalent, and the testing will give us a better sense of to what degree it's in our city. The numbers are relatively low compared to other major cities like New York City, LA, Chicago. Those are the cities that are bigger than we are. But at the same time, like many others, we took steps very early to shut down, and I think the numbers reflect those collective actions which indicate that they have been working. You could say that the virus has spread like a fire, and the curve is flattening. I think that is clear. The curve is flattening, but we are still reporting these new cases. And like a fire, you can extinguish the flames, but often it continues to smother. And so, smother. Did I say that word right? Smother. I wanted to see if you all got it. Thank you. But the reality is, if you start coming back together, not engaging in social distancing, not wearing the face coverings, then it's almost like adding fuel to the fire. And so you may think it's out, but quite frankly, it's not out. And it will come back, and it can come back with a vengeance and be reignited. So please, as we start tomorrow, May 1st, for those businesses that will be opening up in stages, please be very, very careful. I certainly understand people are worried about their jobs, jobs and families, and we are as well. As restaurants, malls, and retail stores start to reopen, please adhere to the 25% occupancy limits. And quite frankly, it's going to be on a trust you basis and self-policing. Because we simply don't have the resources to be going all around the city of Houston to be checking to see whether or not you're following the 25% occupancy. So please adhere to the rule. I'm also advising people to be cautious before rushing back to work or eat out or stopping at restaurants, retails, and other major businesses to begin open. Please proceed very cautiously. As for City of Houston government operations, as I indicated earlier, we will remain in our COVID-19 response through the end of May, and will resume a normal schedule on June the 1st. Through the month of May, there will be no city-sponsored or permitted events. The libraries, again, will remain closed. In addition to municipal court, will also remain closed. As May 1 approaches, tomorrow, the wearing of these face coverings will be even more important. Starting tomorrow as people start to come together a little bit more. But the social distancing is still very much required. The city has distributed already through various channels, city council members and faith-based organizations, about 120,000 face coverings and masks in the past week, really since this weekend. And we'll be distributing, thousands of more over the next several days and this coming weekend. So let me encourage you to reach out to your council members for face coverings or when there will be mass distribution efforts. And I know Council Member Kamen in District C will be having a mass distribution efforts over the weekend, along with Council Member Cisneros in District H at the White Oak Music Hall mass distribution. Will be taking place there, along with many other council members as well. And I would suspect between now and Monday, we'll probably be distributing anywhere between another 50 to 70,000 masks. So it's very important because as we move forward, everyone is going to be assuming a little bit more risk as people come together. But let me just say, we're going to do everything that we can within our power to keep everyone safe, make this reopening, work, and it's going to require all of us to be responsible and do their part as well. Let me just say, whether you go to a restaurant or not, even if you don't, you can go and get your food and bring the restaurant to your table. And I certainly will be ordering from restaurants. Even if I don't go, I'm going to order, okay? And so that's important. Even if you don't go to a retail store, it doesn't stop you from shopping online. So we still can be very supportive of our businesses and put them in a position so that they don't have to close their doors or shut down. So there are many, many ways that we can help. And so even if you don't go to a restaurant, please order from a restaurant. And you can do that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the same thing with the shopping. Please do that even if you don't personally go to a retail. You can still go and be very supportive of our businesses. And they are deserving of that, and I certainly want to thank them because we've all made some tremendous sacrifices. Thank you all so very much, and we'll talk soon.